Okay, now we're going to look at example 3. Okay, so we're going to start with the same thing we started with before. We're going to slip 6 over to the end. 6 is A. We're going to slip it over to the end at the 4, which is C. So we slip 6 over to the 4. 6 times -4 equals -24. So that's going to be our new value at the end of our trinomial, and then we take away that 6. So we are going to have y squared minus 5y minus 24. So notice that the middle term always stays the same. The a term, the first term, will always go to 1, so we're just factoring whatever the variables are. And then the c term, the last term, will always be a multiple of the first term times the last term. So then we do our parentheses, and we look for what gives us y squared, a y, and a y. Now we look for product of -24 and a sum of -5. So looking for the numbers that will give us that. Now keep in mind, I've done this before, so I'm going to come up with the numbers pretty fast, but just to show you some of the experiments that you have to do. Okay, we say 6 times 4. So 6 times 4. That gives me, we'll make this negative. So that'll give me -24. But -6 plus 4 does not equal -5. So that didn't work. And quite often, that's what happens. We don't pick the numbers right the first time. Okay, so then it's not that. So maybe it is 2 times 12. And we'll say 2 times -12. And I'm going to double check. Does that equal 5? So 2 plus -12. That equals -10. Again, that won't work. So now I come up with another combination that will give me -24. And let's try 8 times 5. And make the 5 a negative. So that, I'm sorry, times 3. 8 times 3. So that will definitely give me, again, -24, but now 8 minus 3. Does that give me -5? No, it doesn't. It gives me +5. So that didn't work, but now I just think the combination was there. I got a 5 here, but it was positive. I need a negative. And I know that 8 times 3 is 24. So now I just try the signs different. -8 times +3. Again, -24. Now -8 plus 5 plus 3 does equal -5. And there it is. There's the combination I'm looking for. So I will put -8, +3. So y minus 8, y plus 3. Now I go back. I have it factored, but I go back and I slip. So this first thing was slipping the 6 over to the 4, and now I'm going to slide the 6 that I originally took out under the denominators, under the new factors. So my 6 goes here, and my 6 goes here. My next line down is just going to be reducing those. I'm not going to try to do too much in one step. So I'm just going to reduce these numbers. So this 8 over 6, 8, 6, I can divide this by 2, and I can divide that by 2, and it's going to give me 4 over 3. So this is going to be y minus 4 over 3, and then 3 divided by 6. I can divide this by 3, and this by 3, and that's going to give me 1/2. So my other factor is going to be y plus 1 over 2. Now I'm going to do the slide again. And I'm going to slide this 3 there and this 2 there. So my finished factor is going to be 3y minus 4 times 2y plus 1. And there's my answer. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, a lot of times, these will not make sense the first time through, which is why we have a lot of practice problems. But practice on the ones you know what the steps are until they become fluent, until you can just, your brain is kind of telling you what to do until it makes sense. And you'll get the rhythm of it, and you'll understand what you're doing. But that does take doing it a few times. Just like with anything, first time we learn something, it's difficult. We practice it a few times, and it becomes smoother and clearer. But we have to practice it more until we have it down. So do that. Write this through a couple of times if it doesn't make sense, following the same numbers, and it will become more clear and more clear as you do it. And I will be on another video doing example 4.